Hello, and welcome to Sweetest Monster. Oh boy, she sure is sweet. As usual, I don't know much about this game. I know it's a visual novel. I know it's kinda short, as is the case with nearly all indie games these days, or visual novels especially. Somehow there are no long indie visual novels, sadly. Anyway, as you could see with the warning message in the beginning, there could be some sexual innuendos in there, maybe pictures? I'm not quite sure. There's one thing about this game that I know, and it's that it's apparently not as it seems. There's a slight twist to it, kinda like with Doki Doki Literature Club. I like my games with a twist, you know? Especially with a good twist. Most of the games these days don't have good twists, but let's just hope that Sweetest Monster can somehow surprise me, in a good sense. So I'll just start. I don't know if it is voiced or not, so if it isn't, expect lots of bad voice acting. If it is, expect me reading the narrator or the inner thoughts of the protagonist, just like in Omineko. Let's just fucking start. I remember when Great Aunt Clarice was still alive, she had a black cat called Belle. Now, that isn't strictly true. Great Aunt Clarice didn't just have one cat over her long life, she had several. Maybe it's because she never had any children. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, and diagnosing somebody after their death seems rather callous to me. Great Aunt Clarice always loved cats. After the death of Great Uncle Albert, however, she began to dote on them more and more. She would sit them on her lap and talk to them, and she looked at them so intensely, you would have thought she was waiting for a reply. She was crazy. It was kind of sad now that I think about it. I didn't find it sad when I was little though, I thought it was scary. I never liked going to see Great Aunt Clarice. She would sit in her armchair, bent double, back hunched like the eponymous bell ringer from Victor Hugo's famous novel, stroking her cat with her withered ropey hands. I guess she was your archetypical crazy cat lady. I know some pretty cool cat ladies. At her lowest point she had 6 of the things, shedding hair around the house and dragging dead birds across the welcome mat in the kitchen. It's one of the reasons why I don't like cats. I don't remember much about her cats. I mean, they're just cats. You've seen one cat, you've seen them all, right? But Belle was different. I remember Belle. Oh, I like the little ribbon on her tail. Belle was a black cat, proud and stately, her eyes greener than anything I'd ever seen before. She disliked people in general, and would hiss and spit whenever unwanted fingers strayed too near to her glossy coat. She hissed at me, at mother, at father, and she definitely hissed at Great Aunt Clarice. When she was truly enraged, Belle would even try to scratch us. I can still remember how it felt when Belle's claws raked across the backs of my hands. I can still remember the ugly red welts it caused. Or she caused, rather. She drew blood on more than one occasion. Man, I wouldn't keep this cat, to be honest. Mother and father were upset, but Great Aunt Clarice simply tutted and said, "Well, what can you do?" My parents, as may be expected, were not happy about this laissez-faire response. As a result, they stopped visiting her for several weeks. They couldn't hold out for long though. My mother probably felt guilty for storming out of her house like that, even though the welfare of her only son was at stake. But not really. I mean, I'm still alive and kicking, which is more than can be said for Great Aunt Clarice. Belle's violent assaults didn't leave any lasting scars, not physically. Mentally, I'm also doing fine, though I did become a primary school teacher, so you might think otherwise. What's wrong with that? Jesus. There aren't many around, so you should be proud rather than... oh, whatever. But those scratches were hardly the worst things Belle did to me. I remember, I was playing with a model aeroplane. It wasn't anything special, certainly not electronic. All I could do was throw it like a glorified frisbee, but I enjoyed it all the same. I was running through Great Aunt Clarice's overgrown jungle of a back garden, all uncut grass that reached past the ankles and old dead apple trees that hadn't given any apples for years and years when I noticed it. Great Aunt Clarice's garden is rather big. Was big, I should say, because the garden doesn't belong to her anymore. It had apple trees, like I said, But it also had a vegetable garden, a disused pen where Great Uncle Albert used to keep chickens. Now that I can get behind. And a lake. A rather large lake lined with willow trees like something from a picture book. Like the lake in the beginning of Alice in Wonderland. Maybe I was channeling Alice myself that day, though I didn't tumble into Wonderland searching for white rabbits. Instead, I, quite foolishly looking back on it, fell headfirst into the lake whilst trying to save the life of a black cat. I heard a yowl and a loud splash and I turned, my plane forgotten. It landed on the ground and bounced a couple of times, but I hardly noticed. I was too busy staring out at the lake. Staring at Belle. The old saying states cats have 9 lives, but I wasn't naive enough to believe that, even at the age of 6. I had already been to Great Uncle Albert's funeral, so I knew that when people died, they stayed in the ground and didn't get back up again. Belle did not have 9 lives. She only had 1 life, and it was precious. Belle had scratched me only a few months prior, and I didn't particularly like her, but I didn't want her to drown. That was why I decided to rescue her. I meant well, but as soon as it transpired, this was an incredibly stupid idea for several reasons. For one thing, I could not swim, Jesus Christ. For another, Belle could. Oh god. Why did she need saving then? I can't really remember what happened after that. This is where my memory goes foggy. All I have to rely on is hearsay from my parents and reports from doctors. They told me I almost drowned. I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel or anything. Or, if I did, I don't remember it. But there's something I do remember from that ordeal, splashing helplessly in the icy cold lake in Aunt Clarice's garden. I remember watching, slowly drowning, as Belle pulled herself out of the lake right before my eyes, rendering my rescue attempt null and void. Now, I'm just guessing, but I imagine the last thought I had right before I swallowed a mouthful of fetid water and lost consciousness was, "You really are an idiot." More than 30 years later, I don't think I've changed all that much. Just ask my wife, Sally. Oh, he's married. May 11th, Tuesday. Oh geez. The art style isn't as beautiful as it seems to be in the beginning. But the music is pretty nice. At least... I mean, music is pretty important for games, at least in my opinion. Sally doesn't like Arabella Wade, and I can't say I blame her. I don't think I like Arabella Wade all that much either. That being the case, it's strange Sally seems to be laboring under the entirely misguided apprehension that I might be having an affair with her. Why are you always so kind to that awful woman, Rob? Wait. Robin? I can't stand her. Is my name Robin? Because this would be creepy as fuck since it's my real name as well. Jesus, this fucking game, or is this somehow reading the name of my PC or my profile or something? I don't know. The two of us are sitting together in the living room, the curtains drawn, the TV buzzing in the background like a particularly lackadaisical swarm of bees. I don't know that fucking word, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what we're supposed to be watching because I haven't been paying any attention. I think it's some kind of crime drama. That would explain the stiff, lifeless corpse of a teenage girl sprawled across the TV screen, her hair wringing wet. Oh, pardon me, I had to cough there. Crime dramas have a strange fixation with dead girls, particularly drowned dead girls. Maybe they think it's edgy. Maybe they think it's sexy. The pre-Raphaelitis sure seems to think so, given the unhealthy obsession with poor Ophelia. I can't really comment on the sexiness or otherwise of this dead girl. She reminds me too much of Melly. Another character I don't know yet, I guess. And indeed, I am called Robin, so this will be weird for me, I'm sorry. I know you can't stand her, Sal, but her money is worth just as much as anybody else's. Every little counts and all that. Don't regurgitate advertising jingles at me, Robin. Oh, fuck, I forgot her voice acting, sorry. Even if they're catchy? Even so. I don't think Sally's watching the TV either. She's glaring at the wall, squeezing a cushion so tightly it would scream if it could. Why did she have to come and pick Annette up so early? She knows her piano lessons don't finish until 6:30. She's coming across as kinda bitchy, so I'm giving her a bitchy voice. Maybe she's lonely. So she decides to invade our home and invite herself in for coffee? Well, I guess I was the one who invited her in for coffee, but I didn't really have a choice. You could have told her to leave. I couldn't, Sal. Not when she'd come all this way. I'd have felt bad. So you'd feel bad about inconveniencing Arabella sodding weight, but you don't have any sympathy for me? I had to listen to her banging on about her divorce for half an hour. I felt like I was going to go mad. Ouch. I'm sorry about that, Sally Pally. I tried to give Sally a sympathetic look, but I'm not sure how much of an effect it's having. Sally isn't even looking at me. She's too busy seething. If you really were sorry, you wouldn't have dumped her on me like that. I'm a translator, not a professional entertainer. I know. I'm sorry about that, Sal. I really am. I didn't know what to do. I could hardly cut Annette's piano lesson short because her mother turned up too early. Oh. So I'm giving piano lessons? And my wife had to entertain the mother of the girl I was giving it to, I guess? I bet she did it on purpose. It's because you're always so nice to her, Robin. You're too soft. I don't like the way Sally says nice. It sounds accusatory, like she's trying to frame me for a crime I haven't committed. There are quite a few heavy words in there. It is true that Arabella Waite is fairly attractive as far as single mothers go. But she's also, unarguably, Arabella Waite. Arabella Waite's daughter, Annette, is a student at the school I work at. She's been having piano lessons with me for 2 years. My relationship with the charming Madame Waite, however, is strictly one of business. I hardly ever talk to her. Well, Arabella Waite tries to talk to me. I go along with it because that's more polite than ignoring her, as Sally would prefer, but I don't try to encourage conversation. Why would I? If I'm being brutally honest, I think Arabella Waite is something of a snob, and she's boring with it. I don't know why she gave her daughter such a fancy French name. Arabella Waite doesn't have a single French bone in her body. Though Arabella Waite's getting divorced, she's been in the process of getting divorced for more than 7 months now, I feel sorrier for Annette than for her. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a child. I think Annette's the kind of 9-year-old girl who's been forced to grow up far, far too quickly. She's less of a daughter to her mother than a constant live-in counselor. No wonder she's always so quiet during her piano lessons. I have to be nice to her, Sal. She's a paying customer and she's going through a tough time. I know she's going through a tough time. I know all about that, Robin, because she told me in detail. She told me more than I would like to know. Well, Sally sniffs. What is happening? If the way she looks at you is anything to go by, I have no doubts as to why her last husband packed his bags. Oh, okay. You're being a tad judgmental, don't you think? I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying it like it is. She's always been far too friendly with you. Man, why is my fucking wife such a bitch? I can't believe it. I would never marry someone like this. Perhaps, but it's not like a return of feelings, whatever they might be. I just want to help Annette pass her grade 4 piano exam. And that's why you went out for coffee with Arabella last week, is it? Because you wanted to help Annette? I sigh heavily. So we're back to this again, are we? I thought we'd exhausted this topic last night. We certainly went over it enough times. I hate the woman at that ridiculous Keep Fit club Sally goes to. I swear, they don't even try to lose weight. From what I've gathered, they meet up every Monday solely so they can gossip. Mrs. Harris is the worst. I knew I was in hot water the moment I saw her enter Costa last Saturday, trying to console a crying Arabella Waite over my cappuccino. I already told you, Sal, I didn't want to go for a coffee with her. We just bumped into each other and she suggested it, that's all. But you didn't need to agree with her. No, I didn't, but I think she needs somebody to talk to. The divorce must be pretty hard. She started crying, Sal. and I guess she needed a strong, handsome, already married, let me add, knight to sweep her off her feet? Come off it. What was I supposed to do? My heart isn't made of steel. But what about me, Robin? How do you think that made me feel? I wasn't thinking about you at the time. Oh my god, that's a red flag. You don't say that, to be quite honest. I was more concerned about LambdadeltaYT smearing her mascara, which definitely was not waterproof no matter what she said, down the front of my shirt. Fuck me, dude. You're digging yourself even deeper here. Yeah, so you're telling me you gave her a hug too? Shit, I didn't mean to let that one slip. I'm such a smooth talker. Well, I think she might have hugged me first, and it wasn't a hug, not really. She was just trying to hide her face. Like I said, she was crying so much her makeup had started to run. Being hugged by her was like being embraced by a depressed clown. It was an interesting experience, but not one I'm keen to relive anytime soon. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it. First you invite her out for coffee, and now you're telling me you've been letting her cry into your chest out in public? Why did she need to emphasize the out in public part? Isn't that better than embracing her in private? I don't understand women. Well, maybe this Robin is pretty similar to me. Look, Sal, I know it sounds kind of bad, but I really wasn't like that. Oh, rather, it really wasn't like that. I'm not interested in her. Really, I'm not. Even if she does wear all those low-cut shirts. Jesus. That isn't the part that upsets me the most though, Robin. That's not the real issue here. Damn, Sally sounds mad enough as it is, and this isn't the real issue? I dread to think what that might be. I'm disappointed in you. You said you were going to go out with me and Melly last Saturday. You promised. Ah, of course, Melly. I knew I was forgetting something. Is this my daughter? Oh yeah, it's a good thing that something is only my daughter. So I'm having a kid with this woman. Oh man, you better get it over with and divorce yourself, you know? Look, I know what I said and I really did mean it. I just got distracted, that's all. Too busy trying to console poor Arabella, were we? That isn't it, Sally. I didn't know what to do. It wasn't only last week either. You've been promising Melly you'll have a day out with her for almost a month and you still haven't. Just what is so pressing that you can't put one measly day aside for your daughter? I know it's shoddy behavior. I really am sorry, I've just been busy. Busy? How busy can you be? You're a music teacher in a primary school. Oh yeah. I can't even remember if I had music in primary school, but... No, I don't think I had. But maybe that's a German thing. Maybe... I guess this game is supposed to take place in England or something? Since the whole Costa thing? I think they're big in England. Are they big anywhere else? I'm not sure. And the names, of course. They're also pretty English. But do they have music in primary school? It's hardly rocket science. It's not science at all. It's not even a proper subject. Oh yeah, okay. So that answered it, I guess. Oh, now Sally's done it. I love her and all. I kind of have to since she's my wife, but I'm tired of hearing this shit about my job day in, day out. Even Arabella bleeding Wait got on my case about it last Saturday in Costa, in between all her tears. Oh, now I have to think of a voice for LambdadeltaYT. Oh, I envy you, Robin. Working at the primary school and doing music too. It must be so relaxing, making a living out of something you're passionate about. She's sexy, right? So she gets a sexy voice. Toiling away in an office all these years has really started to grind me down. I guess you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Wink wink. Yeah, right, because trying to stop a class of 5-year-olds hitting each other over the heads with their recorders is so much fun. I'm living the dream here, folks. For your information, Sally, music is a proper subject and my job is a proper job. It's more proper than yours. At least I actually leave the house. Oh my god, what is she doing for a living? Sally stares at me, her face a pale death mask. I think that's the first red flag you're raising here, Robin. You might be dead at the end of this conversation. What was that, Robin? What did you just say? I know I've gone too far, but I can't back down now. It's already too late. In for a penny, in for a pound. I said, my job is more proper than yours. Unlike you, I can't sit on my backside all day with the TV on in the background. How dare you say that to me? Just because I work from home, it doesn't mean my job is any less real than yours. Besides, music is nothing more than a hobby. It's not important, not in the grand scheme of things. Oh, that's wrong. Music is very important in the lives of people, I think. Music is necessary, no matter what you say. Being able to play an instrument is an important life skill. I can't agree with that one, because I'm too stupid to play any instruments. I can't even read note sheets or something. And that's why you stopped trying to teach Melly, is it? Because it's such an important life skill? I stopped for Melly's sake. She hated it. I just don't think the piano is for her. And I have other students to teach, so you'll teach them, but not Melly? Not our daughter? I wonder why. I'm sure money has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Sally. Don't you Sally me. You're in the wrong and you know it. That's why you've gone quiet. It's because you know you've done something you should feel guilty about. Sally looks at me with undisguised disgust. She might as well be examining a cockroach. I feel just as welcome. I'm going to sleep. Don't even think about coming into my bedroom tonight. I don't want to see your face. Oh boy, you're such a pussy whip bastard, seriously. Why would you let her say that to you? This is probably your fucking house, isn't it? My bedroom? What's with that possessive? I did pay for half the house. Nice selective memory there, Sal. With that, Sally storms up the stairs, her messy bun bouncing. Bounce, bounce. I watch as she ascends, slamming one foot after the other with more force than necessary. I can't see her face, but her posture makes her feelings more than evident. Don't follow me. If you do, you're dead. I sigh, rubbing the back of my neck with one hand. Don't worry about that, Sal. I wasn't planning on it. I might have almost drowned her when I was a kid, but I'm not suicidal. Well, it wasn't your intention to drown, was it? There's a river a short walk away from my house. Oh, sorry, not my house. Mine and Sally's. Sorry, but the sound effects... Okay, now they're gone. Mine and Sally's. It would be a little hypocritical of me to call Sally out for laying single-handed claim to our bedroom and then do the same thing about our home, wouldn't it? Let me try that again. There's a river a short walk away from our house, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. The river isn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. Hardly something to wax poetic over. Even the greatest of romantics would struggle to say something nice about it. The river is dark brown, choked with mud and dirt, and people use it as a kind of communal dustbin, ignoring the real bins that exist for that very purpose. Oh, that's disgusting. It's usually filled with broken beer bottles, carrier bags from the nearby supermarket, and fast food containers. It's not a pleasant sight. Once I saw a sofa soaking in there, unmoved by the torrents of muddy water that rushed at it. Jeez. It isn't rare to see shopping trolleys basking in those murky depths. Shallows, more like. Their motionless wheels aloft in the air. I don't envy the guys who have to dredge all that shit back out of that river. It must be a rotten job, far worse than mine. Most people, my wife included, look vaguely amused when I tell them I teach music in a primary school. So you play around with tambourines and castanets all day. But at least, being a teacher is a respectable job. Semi-respectable. It's proper. Not like lake dredgers or whatever their official name is. Do they even have an official name? Man, way to go, you know, you're hating people belittling your job, and in the next sentence you're belittling someone else's job. Fuck me, Robin, you're an asshole. At any rate, though this river is hardly a picturesque point of local interest, more like an eyesore, everybody says, I still like it. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the sound of the rushing water. It's strange that I like this river so much, since I almost drowned in my youth, but that's never really bothered me. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, another weird thing about this whole story is that I did too nearly drown when I was younger. It was a pool, not a lake, but it's a weird coincidence, isn't it? He's called Robin, I'm called Robin. We both nearly drowned. Weird. Maybe the game creator knows me, and I don't know that he knows me. Maybe this is No, this couldn't be based on my life since I'm not good with music, so thank God. So, as I always do when I'm feeling unsettled, which has been more and more frequently as of late, I find myself standing on that bridge, overlooking the surface of the river. It's a dark night and the water doesn't look brown, as it usually does. It's black like ink, the skeleton of a shopping trolley sticking out of its muddy banks. There would be a shopping trolley, there always is. I suppose it's comforting in a way. Some things never change. Not like my relationship with Sally. That's changed a hell of a lot. It happened so gradually too. I didn't even realize how much it had deteriorated until what? I don't want to say until it was too late, because that sounds horribly maudlin, but I sigh, resting my hands against the wrought iron railings. The iron is cold, chilled by the biting wind and my fingers spasm. If I stay here for too long, I'm going to catch a cold. I know that, but I can't bring myself to move. I continue to stand there, frozen, staring into the river. The water parts when it hits the shopping trolley, swirling about it in circles. Did I just feel a spot of moisture on my head? Yeah, it's starting to rain. The rain starts to fall from the sky in a fine mist, light and ephemeral. Well, not that ephemeral. I'm still getting wet. I should go. I've dallied here long enough, lost in my self-indulgent thoughts. Sally might be getting worried. Oh, believe me, she isn't. Then again, maybe not. I wonder, if I slipped and fell over the guardrail, would Sally mind? Would Melly? What's the deal with the names? Sally and Melly? Jesus, maybe Arabella Wade would, but I don't care what she thinks. Sally's right, I haven't been spending enough time with Melly. I only ever see her at dinner when we sit together at the table, lost inside our own respective silences. Happy families. She doesn't talk to me, doesn't even look at me. I'm not sure why I called her Melody. Oh, okay, that's a nice name. Melly isn't, but Melody is. It's a big name to live up to, with a lot of unspoken hopes and dreams mixed in. That was my first mistake. I turn, ready to make my weary way back home, when